Once again, welcome to the online pregnancy school. I trust you are doing well by God's grace. We thank God that gradually things are becoming better with the COVID. But that doesn't mean that we should lose our guards. No, please make sure you protect yourself. Wherever you are going, be sure that you are conscious of the fact that somebody out there might be carrying, even if it's not the COVID, something else which you have to protect yourself against. And do the same for your families. It's very important. Throughout the world, we have women delivering every day. Babies are born every day. Many of these go home without any problem. So they find out they are pregnant women, they go through the hospitals, some of them go to different places, and by God's grace, they are able to go through and deliver successfully. But we cannot say that for every single pregnant woman. We can't, because unfortunately, some of them lose their pregnancies along the way, or they lose the babies at birth, or the mothers do not go through, or even if they do, some of them end up with some complications and diseases. And that is why we are having these sessions, the online pregnancy school. If you have subscribed already, I say a very big thank you. If you haven't done that yet, but you are listening to me, I say thank you. But please go ahead and subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And also copy the link and share with friends and family. If you are joining us for the first time today, my name is Dr. Linda Valutu, a doctor, a public health specialist, and an advocate for mothers and children, in fact, for the whole family, because men are also on my heart. So, advocate for well-being of the whole family, from the unborn child to the oldest person in the family. That is what I stand for. And it is always a pleasure for me to discuss a topic about health with you. Today, we are going to continue with our discussion on anemia, but specifically looking at the pregnant woman. My guest is Dr. Benedict Afar. He is an obstetrician gynecologist, someone who has been trained to take care of women and women health issues. So he's the right person to discuss this topic with us. We are going to look at anemia in the pregnant woman. What does it do? For the reason why we have to be concerned about not having this in a pregnant woman. That is what we're going to talk about today. So, Doc, you are welcome to the online pregnancy school. I'm happy.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. So today we are going to continue with our discussion on anemia, but we are zooming in on the pregnant women, talking specifically about the complications that can happen in pregnant women. And before we do that, why should we be concerned? Is anemia in pregnancy an issue at all? For which reason we must spend time to discuss it.
Yes. So anemia in pregnancy is very, very important. If you even look at maternal mortality, in the past, anemia was about the number 5 cause of maternal mortality. That is anemia on its own.
Okay.
But even if you look at the other causes of maternal mortality, if you take obstetric hemorrhage, be it postpartum hemorrhage or
no, those are big brofo. What does it mean? Postpartum hemorrhage.
So the anemia itself contributes to a mother dying. That is one. But if you look at the other causes of maternal mortality, for example, a woman bleeding after delivery, or a woman even bleeding before she goes into labor, these are all part of the causes of maternal mortality. So indirectly, before you even die from the bleeding, you develop anemia and die. If you look at the infections that come in as part of the causes of maternal mortality, if you are anemic and you have an infection, it's more critical and more serious. And if you take sickle cell disease, for example, you know, sickle cell is a very serious or critical condition when you are pregnant.
Yeah.
So those who are even dying from sickle cell, underneath it or even indirectly related is anemia, because most of the time the sickle cell patients are anemic.
Yeah.
So you can imagine anemia is contribute about 3 out of the 5 top causes of maternal mortality. And when it stands on its own, it's just about 20% of the causes. So on its own or indirect, it is still a big cause of maternal mortality. And of course, we all want to make sure that the maternal mortality is reduced to the barest minimum. I mean, if you look at the SDGs, we are trying to reduce it by a certain percentage. So we all want to try and do a bit. But if there's a cause that we can do something about it, that is anemia, and we need to tackle it with all the seriousness that it deserves.
Wow. That is humbling, really, because a woman becomes pregnant and she looks forward to having a baby. But because of the low HB, she dies. Or, if you look at causes of death, then this is playing a very big role. That is very, very unfortunate. But Doc, for those who are pregnant, if we take 100 women who are pregnant, do we have a lot of them whose HBs are low?
Yes, so prevalence in Ghana, for example, some of the studies that they've done, you have about 25%, that is 1 out of 4, in especially in the first trimester. So 25%, if you take like about 5 pregnant women, 1 may have anemia when they are starting. Well, as they go on with the pregnancy, second trimester, third trimester, it goes about 40%, even sometimes 50%. So you can imagine it's doubling. And we know the reasons why a woman, you may start, even those who don't start with anemia may end up getting anemia. So you can imagine if you already start and you're anemic, then you are in serious trouble. So the prevalence is quite high when you take the pregnant women.
Wow. Why do they start off with anemia? Why should it be so high from the beginning?
Yes.
And why does it increase as they go along?
Good. So they start off because the women, those especially in the reproductive age, will have been having menses every month. So they've been losing some blood. Some of them are not eating well, especially the adolescents or those from poor backgrounds. They are not eating well. So they already have anemia even before they embark on the pregnancy. And as the pregnancy goes on, second trimester, third trimester, there is increased demand. The baby is now growing. So the baby is now feeding on the iron and the folic acid stores of the mother. Then, the mother also, there is increase in the blood volume. So they tend to get what we call dilutional anemia. It's like there's a lot of fluid in the system that dilutes the hemoglobin level. So it comes to the anemia. And of course, sometimes they may bleed. Some of them, they start with some miscarriages. Some of them, they start with bleeding even before the pregnancy becomes well established. So if you look at all these, the increased demand, the bleeding, and the fact that there is increase in the blood volume, this all predispose the woman to be having worsening of the anemia as time goes on. So you can imagine if you don't do anything about it, by the time the patient gets to the third trimester, she's down there.
Yeah.
And once you're getting close to delivery, definitely when you go into labor, when you go and deliver, you may have to lose some blood. So if you are starting off with a low HB, that means any small amount of blood, then the woman is in quite a critical condition.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. You see, it is very, very important what you said about the adolescents. Because these days, if you look at how some of them eat, it is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
They want to eat the sweet things, the snacks. Some of them say they don't want to put on so much weight. So they check what they eat. Unfortunately, they don't know that that is not good for their health. And it's very important. Young ladies, it is very, very important that you eat well, stay healthy, even before you get into marriage and become pregnant. It is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about anemia in the pregnant woman. The statistics at the end of pregnancy, when people are about to deliver, if you take 2 pregnant women, one of them is anemic. Doc, that is a huge number.
Yes.
So what is being done to prevent this?
Good. So if you look at Ghana Health Service, for example, there have been strategies over the years to be able to help prevent anemia in pregnancy. So beginning and even at the end. So when they start antenatal, we need to check their HB. So we have HB at booking or the first visit. So if we check and it is low, that means we need to double our steps in correcting it so that it doesn't go down further as the pregnancy goes on. Those who even have normal blood levels, because we know that it's going to reduce as the pregnancy goes on, they have to start the supplementation. So that's why we have iron and folic acid supplementation. Then every month, if you look at the antenatal book that we have, every month we check the HB because we want to be sure where it is. Then we can intervene early before they get to term. So every month we check the HB. If it comes down, we double our steps in trying to correct it. And when they get to 36 weeks, we need to check again because 36 weeks, you are close to term and close to the labor.
Yeah.
So we need to be sure because at 36 weeks, the time to correct is short.
Yes.
So if we need to do other things to be able to correct, then we double up. If not, the woman will show up in labor and it's very low, they bleed, and we are in serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the strategies. So we'll be encouraged. Even now, if you look at the WHO, the new strategy that they brought to be able to help with anemia, to combat anemia in pregnancy, it is recommended that every pregnant woman should take in iron and folic acid every time, whether you are anemic or not, you have to take it. Then you have to eat well. Then the prevention of malaria, for example, is one of the key things because for pregnant women, when you get pregnant, the tendency for you to get malaria is high.
Yes.
You know, the parasite, they love the placenta. So they will be there and disturbing you. So we need to clear those parasites. That's why we use the SP. So the intermittent preventive therapy is quite crucial to make sure that we reduce the incidence of malaria in pregnancy because it has a direct link with anemia in pregnancy. Then the use of the ITN, the insecticide treatment, very, very important because we want to try and prevent mosquito bites. If you have 2 adults in a room and a mosquito comes there, they will go and visit the pregnant woman than the non-pregnant person. You understand that the pregnant woman, because of the increased carbon dioxide and certain pheromones that they secrete, so they tend to get more bites. So they already have the association. Then of course, if they are getting sick, they are having infections, if they are having, if they even have HIV, AIDS and all that, because of a reduction in the immunity, it will affect them. Then of course, when sickle cell also comes in, it also brings another picture altogether. So there have been efforts to make sure that we check every time and all the infections and the diseases that we need to correct and treat, we do it. Then of course, if we need to treat, we treat it and treat it urgently so that we don't get to term and you are anemic and when you deliver, you bleed and it's something else. So these are some of the strategies that have been put in place over the years to help. And I must say that they are yielding results, just that we still need to continue to do it. We don't have to lose the fight. We have to continue because if we can deal with anemia, that means the maternal mortality numbers are going to come down. Yes, it's going to come down because some of the causes of maternal mortality, you can't really do much about it. But anemia, hemorrhage, and all that, we can easily do something about it so that we can cut down on the numbers.
Okay. So that is very, very, very important. Now that we have heard all this, what are some of the complications that anemia can bring to pregnant women?
Okay, good. So the complications, we have the maternal, that's for the mother herself and the baby. So for example, for the mother, once your hemoglobin level is low, it affects even the way you do your things. So they get tired. They have palpitation, like they are breathing very fast. They cannot do the normal household chores. They can't even take care of their kids. And of course, they cannot take care of the man as well because they are so tired. So you can imagine. Then the worst of it all is a heart failure. Because when you get a heart failure, that one is quite dangerous. So if you don't take care, it may actually end in death. That is what we want to prevent. Yes, so we want to prevent that. We don't want to get there. Then, of course, for the mother, again, if your HB level is low or you have anemia, it may predispose you to miscarriages. Yes, it can predispose you to miscarriage. Very, very important. And some may not even achieve pregnancy in the first place. Then for the baby, you realize that they have low birth weight. That is one. They may have what we call intrauterine growth restriction. So the babies may not go to their full potential.
Okay.
Then there's a tendency that you may deliver prematurely. So premature delivery is also one of the problems with anemia in pregnancy. Then the unfortunate thing is that the baby can actually die in the womb. So you can imagine your baby is 7 months, 8 months. Before you are aware, you can't feel the movement. You go to the hospital, they check, and they say your baby is no more. Because when the mother has anemia, there's reduced oxygen tension. So the oxygen that is getting to the baby is reduced. So the baby is actually subjected to hypoxia. Hypoxia means that there's reduction in the oxygen. So once a baby is subjected to that, they may have distress. Then when they are born, they may have low APGAR scores. So they may end up with asphyxia. Then once they come out, if they are not lucky in life, these babies may develop other complications. So it's quite a big problem. And the babies may actually have some learning disabilities. You never know. So because some of the babies, if you go back and you do maybe a retrospective study, you may realize that some of the babies, they may not turn out well because their mothers were anemic, they had infections, they took some medications and all that. So these things are very, very important. Yeah.
And all this is preventable, right?
Yes, definitely.
Anemia in pregnancy is preventable. It is very sad, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a lot of people reaching out because they are trying to become pregnant. And we have just been told that if you are a woman, and I believe that the men also need to have their HBs at the level that they should be, so that they can be healthy for everything, including the sperms to be healthy. So if you are out there, before you become pregnant or before you get married, you can go to the hospital and have a check. We have done a session on before you become pregnant. What do you have to do? So it is important that you do this. You see, everything that we are talking about is because if you do something about it, you will be better off. I've been in the health sector for over 30 years. And within that space of time, I have seen so much. Women, as doctor is telling us, who have died or who have lost their babies. But those deaths were preventable. Unfortunately, they didn't know what to do. Doctor has just told us, if you're a pregnant woman, you don't feel your baby moving well, please do not wait and say that I will wait and go to the clinic tomorrow. Even if you went today and you went home and you don't feel your baby, just go back. There's so much that when you see your heart really bleeds that you wish these people knew what to do. And that's why doctor is spending time today to tell us about what anemia in pregnancy can do to the mother and to the baby. And this is preventable. But doc, one thing is that I know women, when they come to the hospital, they are given the SP, as you have said. They're also given some fesolate or folate and all these things. Why is it that they still have the anemia? There are some things that we have heard. We don't know whether they are true. That some of them don't want to take the tablets because they think the babies will be too big and therefore they will go through cesarean section. Is this something that has come to your notice?
Yes, it's true. Yeah, these things are there. So there are some of the women, they don't want to take the medications. One of the reasons is what you just said. They think maybe the baby will be too big and they will go through cesarean section, but it's not true. If the baby is going to be big, there are women who don't even eat, but the baby is big. Genetically, the baby is going to be big. You can't do much about it. There are women, when they realize that the baby's weight, when they can say, hey, this baby has a potential of becoming big, they say, oh, then they will stop eating. We tell them no. It's not a food per se that is going to make your baby big, so they shouldn't do that. But realistically, what we've also found now is that some of the women is because they are not able to tolerate the medications. The nausea, the vomiting. And these are issues that we need to address and help them, because if not, they will take the medication, they'll just hide it under their pillows and their beds, and they will come and tell you that, oh, everything is fine. But you realize that this woman's HB is going down every time. She says she's taking the medication, but it's not true. Even today, a man who accompanied the wife was telling me that, no, doctor, the woman, the wife doesn't take the medication. Because I realized that it's 9.6. So it was even good. She says everything is fine. It was good that the husband came, because he came to say that the woman doesn't take her medication. Imagine. So, and the other thing is that some of the medication to the absorption is a problem. So that is why there is a recommended amount of iron and folic acid that any medication that we give you. So this, on this note, the healthcare professionals, we also have to be on the lookout, because some of the medications, the women will take it all right, but it's not going to help them in any way. So we have to make sure that the elemental iron component of whatever hematinic we are giving to the pregnant woman is optimum, so that even though there may be losses and some of them will not be absorbed, the required amount, they will get it. Because if not, she will be taking the medication all right, but a lot will not be absorbed. And there have been studies that have shown that some of the iron preparations, a lot of them are not absorbed. So they will not get the requirements they need, and the HB will be very low. So these are some of the issues that we need to stress on, that they should be taking it, because it's not for them, it's just for the baby. Because if your baby is not getting required amount of iron and folic acid, your baby development will be affected. And you, the mother, if your HB goes down, it will affect you as well. So we are encouraging the mothers, if, for example, a certain preparation is not helping you, tell us. We can change it for you, because sometimes you don't like the syrup, so we can give you capsules. Sometimes the capsules, you cannot tolerate it, we can give you syrup. And of course, there are times that some of the brands or the formulations, they actually cause diarrhea and abdominal pain. So these are issues that we need to address for the pregnant women. So as healthcare professionals, we should be mindful of this. If not, if she takes the thing and she's vomiting or she's having diarrhea, she won't take it, but she will not tell you, because she thinks that when she says she's not taking, you are going to reprimand her, so she won't say it. But of course, it will show in the levels that every time when they come, the HB is not going up, and we are so worried. Meanwhile, it's very something small, a very minute issue that if we had addressed, or we had addressed our mind to it, we'd have found that, okay, maybe this drug is not good for her. Let's change for her and she'll be fine. So it's very, very important for us to be able to look at some of these issues and address. If not, we'll give them the medication, they won't take. They will just hide them and come with anemia, and it will feel that we are not doing our work, but we've not been able to address some of those issues.
That is very, very important. So this man who went with the wife, congratulations. We want the men to be involved. I said that the pregnancy should be enjoyed not just by the woman, and that means that she shouldn't be the only one carrying, in quotes, the challenge of being pregnant. The husband can help. So he did very well by joining the woman to the hospital. And doctor has told us, if you have been given some medications and you have any challenges with them, please don't keep them. And when you go to the hospital, tell them that, oh, I've been taking them. You see, if you do that and you have a challenge, it will be you and your baby or your baby suffering. They will think they are doing their best because they will be looking at you. Oh, the HB is still down. Let's do this. They will do that for you. But it's up to you. And I think the other thing is that, you see, when you go to the hospital as a pregnant woman, it's not just the doctor or the midwife who sees you. If you need to be referred to see another care provider, like a dietitian, you'll be asked to do that. If you need to see somebody else, you'll be asked to do that. So please take the antenatal seriously. It is very, very, very important. And also, when they are giving the lab forms, I understand some of them, when they come to the hospital today, they've been given a lab form to come back in a month's time and do the lab and come with it because they've been given some medication to see whether it will work or not. They actually will do the lab today. Is that the correct thing to do? So because they have come today, they'll just do it today, keep the results and bring it to you in a month's time. So it means that you will not see the effect of the medicine that you have given. Is that correct?
Yes, so it happens. So it means that we need to educate the pregnant women very well. Because even the medication that we're giving, it takes a while before you see the effect. So that should guide when the test should be done. So we need to, as healthcare providers, we need to educate the women very well. Just as we said, they may just do it because they think the next time when they come and they do it, they may go and join a keep. So to buy time, they will do it and keep it, but it will not be a true reflection of what is really happening. So we need to explain. And for us to, when they come, we need to check the dates because sometimes you may not check the date. You think it's a recent one. So they will be thinking, wait. So you need to check the weight at the dates. You know that, okay, this is current or not. Then it can inform whatever intervention you want to give to the pregnant woman. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have spoken about anemia in the pregnant woman, the complications that can come about. There's a lot, but we hope that you have learned something from today, especially the reason why we should prevent anemia in pregnancy. This is the online pregnancy school, and I'm asking you to share with friends and family. Share as widely as possible. I get so many comments. I get so many questions about people. Some of them have gone through pregnancy. They are the end of their pregnancies, but they still have questions that they want answers to. And that's why we bring you the online pregnancy school. So please continue to share and subscribe. Give us your thumbs up. Just share your comments with us. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere, the pregnancy school. And please, let's help to prevent maternal and newborn deaths. Some of them are preventable. They are preventable. I've been talking to Dr. Benedict Afar, an ONG specialist. He works with women. They have seen so much, and he wants to share his experience with us. You can see from the way he's talking that it's sometimes very sad to see a woman come through your office pregnant. You have seen her several times. She goes into labor, and because she was anemic, the heart failed and she passed away, or the baby was born as a stillbirth because of anemia, or that she even had a miscarriage along the line because of anemia. And that is why we are bringing you this, so that it doesn't continue. Please do not stay with your conditions at home. Doc, your parting words for our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, so my words, encouraging words to the pregnant women is that we are there for them. We want them to achieve positive pregnancy experience. But for that to happen, they need to help us to help them. So whatever bothers their mind, we have an open door policy. They should ask us questions, they should reach out to us, and we will help them to be able to go through the pregnancy period smoothly and be able to get their health and that of their baby. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So Dr. Afar is at Ga East Hospital. So if you are around that area, Ga East area, sometimes people send me messages. I saw your video on Health TV. They see it from all over. So if you are around that area and you are watching us and you have a question or you have a concern, you are a pregnant woman, you've been given some iron tablets, you want to know whether this is what is causing the diarrhea or whatever the problem, please go to Ga East Hospital. I'm sure you know the place. It is a nice, beautiful new hospital around that area. So please go there and look for Dr. Afar, the ONG specialist, and he'll be happy to see you. It has been my pleasure hosting Dr. Afar to discuss anemia in pregnancy, especially the complications that can occur, and unfortunately, which can include death for the mother and for the baby. I hope that you have learned something new. Please continue to share your comments with us and share widely with friends and family. Until I come your way again with another important topic, remember, Promise from the Womb, the magazine. Go on Amazon and get yourself a copy, or send me a WhatsApp message on the number you see down there, and I'll be happy to help you to get a copy. Learn, share. Let's help to make pregnancy a time of joy and not anxiety or fear. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye.